gift for us?
Well, no, I was just saying that Castro is one of those Christmas gifts that we're going to be opening tomorrow, and we've already opened the Orlando-Miami gift, the Philadelphia-NYCFC gift, and the New England-Montreal gift. And so those are like the gifts. That's why I was asking if you guys opened up one, opened up all, and you just had the one large gift in the box. That's why I was trying to figure out your protocols when it comes to Christmas, because we've opened up a couple of smaller gifts with these 3 matches that we've had already, and one that's coming up later tonight. And that's why I was trying to figure out how your protocol was. But I think that for me, Castro is a part of that really large box that's tucked behind the Christmas tree. Yep. And so that's how I'm viewing Atlanta United as we get ready for Red Bulls.
Well, I think in the context of what you're saying, the game tomorrow is been, 4 months of anticipation, right? So the last game we played was against FC Cincinnati. It was on March 7th. It was a 2-1 match. We were solid. We were coming off trying to figure out how to play without, the star, Joseph. And we're still at that point right now, obviously, heading into tomorrow is trying to figure out how to play with Joseph. But one of the things that I think is really beneficial to our team is that there has been, 4 months in this process. So there's been this period of time where we've known our disadvantage, our biggest disadvantage, and we've learned how to work around that. So I think I'm most excited to see what we look like tomorrow, because I really feel like tomorrow we're going to see an Atlanta United that we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. As far as Castro goes, I think we're going to see something where almost like with what Miami did with Pizarro, which is you're probably going to see him start on the bench and let him watch how the game is unfolding. And the reason I say that is because I think if you're Red Bulls, the first 15 to 20 minutes are going to look like a one of the Mad Max movies. It's going to be, press to kingdom come before they start getting into, they have the advantage of the water break. I think that really helps a pressing team like Red Bulls. But if you are Frank de Boer, I think you have to think about stretching that field, put those wing backs on the touchline, make that field expansive, and make New York run. Mm-hmm. And if Castro has an opportunity to watch and see how the game's developing and find that time when he kind of looks over at Frank and Frank maybe looks over him and they kind of give the nod like, now's the time.
Release the hounds.
Yep. You put him in and watch him burn. So to me, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. The pressing for Red Bulls is going to be, I think, very interesting to watch. In a non-COVID world where they had a proper preseason, maybe I think I would probably give the Red Bulls more of, credit's not the right word, but I might be a little more afraid of them. But politics come into play in everything. And New York and New Jersey keeping things locked down as long as they did, preventing some of these organizations from doing, group trainings and things like that. I want to see how that plays into Red Bull's preparation, because you cannot at home on your own prepare for that kind of pressing system. And it's a coordinated press. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I may have jumped the gun a little bit on that, but I'm so excited about it to see how it all plays out.
I think on that note, the Red Bulls we're going to see also a different Red Bulls team. And John will probably speak to this, is they're going to try and have a little bit more possession this year, I think, is what Chris Armas is trying to lead into. So whether or not their pressing is as dangerous as it has been in the past, we'll see. But they're also missing their number 99, their Bradley Wright Phillips. So whether Brian Wright and Royer can combine, we'll see. Because they did last year, and we saw the beginning of this year, we saw that and how that would work out. But are we looking at the same Red Bulls identity as we've been so familiar with this constant press, with this just absolutely abusing the back line? Are we going to see them let us have a little bit more possession so that then we can intermix? John, what's your idea?
Well, here's my thought. I don't think that as we look at Red Bulls, and for anyone who is watching us, thanks for watching us on Twitch, thanks for hanging out with us on Spreaker, for anyone who has any thoughts, this is a two-way street, this show, what you guys are thinking. Let us know what you're thinking. Kelly's monitoring the Twitch. I'm monitoring the Twitters. So if you guys have any thoughts and questions and anything you guys want to put to the floor, that's what we're here for. But I think that we all know Red Bull's identity. We all know what they want to do. But I think for me, it comes down to two aspects here. One, you haven't replaced, and I'm gonna use air quotes for those watching on Twitch, and figured I'd notify folks who are listening to us. They haven't replaced like for like. And when you can't replace a Tyler Adams, when you don't have a Bradley Wright Phillips, and you don't replace those with individuals that you think are going to have that kind of immediate impact the same way that those two individuals have, I think it presents an issue. Yes, and here's my codicil to all this and my caveat. I know that what John Wolyniec does with Red Bulls 2 and what everyone else does as a part of the Red Bull system, you're thinking that it's going to be bringing those individuals in, have them work their way into the system. It's plug and play. Hey, it's these guys were in these other locations. They're a part of the Red Bulls mentality. Therefore, we plug them into these locations on the pitch, and it, quote unquote, should be the same. But it's not. Bottom line is, when you haven't replaced these individuals, it's going to be different. I think it's going to be the way that I've looked at a lot of these teams, and I'm looking at most of these teams really when it comes to this for MLS is back.
Right.
2.5 matches in 8 months. Think of like cold morning, when the car's in the driveway and you don't have enough room in the garage and you have to park it outside in the cold. And you start the car, and it takes a little while for the car to kind of get all warmed up and everything. And you turn the heat on, you leave, you go run some errands, come back in 10 minutes. Then the car is warm for you. Then you can sit in the car and not freeze, and then you can go and drive wherever you need to go. I think we're going to see that with a lot of teams. It's going to start in this tournament. Then you're going to learn more about yourself in the gap time. And then when we come into the other end of MLS is back, then you'll know more about yourself. But I think that where Red Bulls are concerned, and we'll see that with a lot of other teams too that have had to change a lot in the offseason, you're not the same. Can Atlanta United hop on that immediately, Kelly? And I think that that's the issue for me, is that this is not the same. This is not your brother's Red Bulls. It's not even your brother's Red Bulls. It's not your mom's Red Bulls, your dad's Red Bulls, your brother's Red Bulls. It's a different Red Bulls in those key spots.
That he drinks every morning.
Yeah.
Not any of those.
Yeah, Luis Robles. That's right. Another aspect of this whole thing.
They're missing a lot of the key. Yeah, Kamar Lawrence as well, which was a huge part of them defensively. So no, you're absolutely right. We're not going to be seeing any bit of the Red Bulls that we have seen previously. But let's talk about Atlanta right now, because you did present a good question, which is Atlanta needs to come and present themselves on the forefront to take over that lead, to take over that possession-based, obvious soccer, which we're so very fond of, and really put the pedal to metal to the Red Bulls. What do you guys see as your starting 11? I know who I have, but I'd be interested to compare my notes to yours. Let's go ahead and start with the very obvious. I'm pretty sure we're all Guzan starting goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that'll work.
It's a good bet. Bet. So for my back line, I actually have what I think we'll probably be running with. If it was a normal season, it would be, Escobar on right, Miles in center, and Meza on the left. What are your thoughts to that?
Agree. Circle gets the square. Nick, what do you think?
I think I'm good with that. I think Frank may switch up the lineup a bit more than people expect. With the 5 substitutions, he's going to have the ability to make some swaps. I want to see where Escobar starts, to be honest with you, because putting him on the back 3, I think is logically the right choice. But you may want to see him come in later in the game and use his speed to torch the Red Bulls. If they start showing some tired legs, I think that you may see some creative substitutions, just because you have the water breaks, halftime, 5 substitutions with 3 opportunities. I just think that you may see more creative subbing here than maybe we're used to.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know that from what I've read, Frank is wanting to use all 5 subs. He's really wanting to take advantage of that, as well as the times during the water breaks to sort of talk to the players. But this is sort of where this question bleeds into whether we see Escobar come on as a sub. Who are you seeing then as your left back and your right back? Because for me, I want to see Bello start again. I was looking forward to seeing him starting in the season regardless. I was looking forward to seeing him progress as a player. I feel like he's talented, he's good on the ball, and why not now to get an opportunity to get and this sort of pivotal moment with a first game back, high stakes, high pressure. I know Frank definitely has trust in Bello. We saw that when he started the beginning of the season anyway, but I see it being Lennon and Bello just as solid starts. And then for me, with these subs, I see, a Mulroney coming on as a sub. With his speed, with his ability on the ball, he's going to blow past defenders like nothing, especially in the heat with Orlando.
Right. And I think that don't be shocked if you have Walks coming on as a starter and just kind of muscling some people around, beating them up, trying to get them tired. And then you would see that sub where an Escobar could come in. And I know that people on social media are like, how much has Nick been drinking today, thinking that Escobar's not starting? I get it. But we have to keep in mind that this is almost a World Cup format. It's not your standard MLS game format. And that heat and the humidity will absolutely vaporize the physical attributes very quickly. Yeah. So we want to try to space out how we use these players who have dynamic athletic ability and be able to, so it's sustainable over a lengthy tournament, that's why I'm saying we may have the creative subs. But don't be shocked if you see Walk starting. I think you're dead on with Bello. I think now, especially early in this game, is prime time for Bello. Let him get out there and let him start torching folks, and let's see, let him in his own mind. If you get injured and you get injured a couple times, you have to get over that in your own mind as well. It's not just for the fan base to get over. Forget what the fan base says. They may say, oh, he's injury prone, whatever. But Bello has to get over that in his own mind, and he may have done so in training, but it's different when those opposite jerseys are coming at you to be like, okay, no, I'm good, I'm okay. Let's start, opening things up.
On that note with drinking, Nick, on the Dre did ask a very important question. Will Nick share his beer?
Look, I am in these unique times, I am willing to leave a beer outside for someone to come and, we can socially distance and have a beer. But, I am willing to share in these difficult times.
Sadly, I have not had a glass of wine yet. That is something
what?
that I know. I know everyone's shocked.
What?
I plan on having one quite later. But another one I did want to pull out here from the Twitch stream, because I feel like it's nice time to sort of get in all of the comments being made. Reswid, or Reswde, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. So Chris Armas would be wise to keep pressing. I don't think he'll be able to do as much, but all we know with what happened last time, he went away from it against Atlanta. So
I'm with you on that, and I understand the idea. He has to press because that's what Red Bulls do. That's what they're known for. However, without the proper preseason, the ability to press, the athletic ability will vaporize very quickly in that heat and humidity. Even when the sun goes down, the ability to maintain that level of energy, it's going to be very difficult. I think if I'm Chris Armas, I'm going to try not to blow it. What I'm going to do is instead, I'm going to try to occupy a mid block and tell my players, look, we will sub out forwards because our press is going to begin with the forwards. And in my opinion, they're the most critical individuals. When you start forming that hexagonal shape of the 4-2-2-2, the forwards are doing a tremendous amount of running. I just tell the forwards, look, you're going to go out. We're going to be timely with our pressing. We are going to, anytime that they try to distribute out of the back without booming, we're going to attack them. We're going to attack like a pack, and then we're going to drop. I don't think you're going to see that traditional Red Bulls press because of that time. That they're going to look to the side, and you're going to see Armas kind of nod. And for 15 to 20 minutes, they're going to go nuclear, and then they're going to fall back in that mid block, hold tight, try to cause chaos in the midfield, disrupt Atlanta's ability to move the ball between the lines, and then try to counter normally. If I'm Chris Armas, I'm doing that because I don't trust my team's ability to do a continuous press for that period of time with this shortened preparation period.
So then, Nick, let me see if I understand you here. You're thinking that if Red Bulls come out and they try to press the daylights out of Atlanta United, shorten the field, get a goal on the board, and then retreat, that's the best case scenario for them if in this match.
I think so. I think so because you have players who are gifted at causing havoc. And Red Bulls, unlike a lot of the upper echelon teams in MLS, their systems are not based on playing pretty ball. They can, as a default, drop down and start playing this Mad Max ball in the midfield, where they're not focused on that first touch. They're focused on recovery of that second or third pass to try to get that errant ball, that 50-50 ball that their players can come in and start knocking things around. What the refs have shown me is that they're willing to allow some knocking around to happen, and that plays into Red Bull's game. So you press in specific situations that you have prepared for. Otherwise, you drop into a mid-block, keep Atlanta from developing, break up the passing between the lines, and make Atlanta try to go laterally. And you try to pin, if it is Bello, you try to pin Bello in the back as far back as you can until you start seeing the little tired legs, and then you retreat back and just try to do what would look normally like a bunker encounter, but you're doing it from the mid-block instead of in front of your own goal.
Okay, well, let's sort of transition that question into breaking that up in the midfield, right? So we need people to go and break up that mid-block. So let's go back to our starting 11. Who do you guys see as being able to do that? I mean, I have the team that was starting in the paired team that was going at the beginning of the season, which was Hyndman and Remedi. I mean, I think that's pretty much a shoe-in for those two, right? So you've got the Pitbull and Remedi and the sort of quiet ninja in Hyndman.
Hyndman, to me, is the guy. He is the person who is going to be the key for Atlanta United. We could talk about the guys up front and the magic that they're going to do. Yes, they are very important. But if you want to beat any Red Bulls team, and I don't care if it's the New York Red Bulls jersey or Salzburg or Leipzig, that moving the ball from that back line and connecting in the midfield without losing it, that's mission number one.
Right.
And it's going to be on Hyndman to make smart decisions with the ball. It's going to be on Hyndman to evade that initial clash. To me, Hyndman is the most important person in this game for tomorrow night. And it's just because you have to be able to get that ball, receive it, and immediately distribute. And if we had Nagbe, I'd probably feel a little bit better about it. But our boy Hyndman's proven that he can get it done. He's proven he can get it done.
Hashtag Nagbe replacement, right, Nick?
Hey, we do what we can.
Okay, let's not do that. Okay, then let's talk. Let's move forward because I know that this is the question everybody is waiting for us to answer on ideas on who we see being that 3-pack up front. Because I'm assuming we're doing a 3-4-3. That's just my assumption.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're going to see a combination of Pitti, Barco, and Hussein. Yeah. I really do. Mm-hmm. Because when you have a 3-headed snake coming at you, it's going to be hard to defend anything they've got coming.
Right. I think that makes sense. Adam John's going to be someone who I would want to bring in the second half to, as the Red Bulls get a little more tired and Atlanta's able to start moving the ball forward. But he makes that target forward really work, I think, in the second half. But for the first half, I think you're 100% right. Barco up top. I want to see Pitti in a false 9. I want to see Pitti as the false 9 because his ability to, with one-touch ability to turn, beat that initial pressure, and immediately put an accurate shot off, I think it can be him. And I think he's comfortable this year in a way that he wasn't last year.
Right.
So where the jokes were people like, okay, Pitti put a ball on the moon or in section 305 again. Well, no, now he's settled, and I think you're going to see this is going to be Pitti's tournament where people are going to start going like, oh no, because it's clicked. But I think you're spot on for your top 3. And Rossetto, to me, is I'm really excited to see what he can do. If he's in and he's comfortable.
How many minutes did we see in him with Cincinnati? We saw 30? Did we get 30 minutes of him in Cincy?
Maybe.
When we played against Cincy and the Benz, I think we literally got a very brief sample size of him. And I know that as everybody was, we were all pretty pretty okay with it.
Yeah.
So what we're really getting is we have a lot of candy to choose from right now. Obviously, the big sucker that we really want is still in development to come back. But I think going into this, somebody did ask on Twitch, and I'll have to find the name, and I'll say this on this, but do we see Atlanta as really kind of being favored in this tournament, as being the ones to win?
I think so. I think that Atlanta can get it done for one key reason, and that's flexibility. In tournaments like this, if you go back to any World Cup, the Euros, when you have a compressed schedule, and it's different than Champions League, but in
RO past 97. Thank you. That was the question. Go ahead.
There we go. And it's that when you have flexibility, when players get injured or they get into card trouble, and you can seamlessly work someone in, and you're not losing any momentum, that is a terrifying thing. You saw that with Spain, and you saw that with Germany. You saw it with Italy in 2006. Players who could come and slide in, and there's no problems. And I think Atlanta has the ability to do that. There are a few other teams that, if they were full strength, could do that. But I think Atlanta has depth and talent and flexibility that not many other teams in this league have, much less this tournament.
Yeah, I know you're about to leave, Nick. Let's just go ahead and get the viewers some like one final note that you leave us with for the match tomorrow.
This game is going to be Atlanta's to win based on possession. If they are able to, like I said in the beginning, if they are able to put those wings on the touchline, and you are able to stretch that field, the Red Bulls will tire out very quickly, but they must be careful at the water breaks. The water breaks, as we saw with Miami and Orlando, are absolute game changers.
Crucial.
And if Atlanta if they have momentum and they have a rhythm, and that rhythm is disrupted, that favors the Red Bulls. So they have to make sure they are very, very careful in and out of the water breaks.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. I will see you next time we do one of these, because we're going to do one before every home match. I'm so excited. More of them. Yay.
Yes, very excited. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll see you next time.
Good to see you, Nick.
All right. So we're actually going to bring on two people that I'm sure all of you are very, very familiar with and near and dear to my heart. Jared Smith, who is wearing my favorite kit of all time.
There it is. The Parley.
Thanks. Oh, no. You can take that back. Jason Longshore, who is the soccer encyclopedia for everyone. So, welcome.
Nice. There you go.
It's just a party is what it is. And you know what? Why shouldn't it be, though? We're celebrating something really big tomorrow. And I still can't. The fact that soccer is coming back tomorrow is like almost unfathomable. I know it's happening, but it's just like I'm so afraid something's going to happen, knock on wood, within the next 24 hours.
Don't do that.
All right, I'm knocking on wood.
Don't do that.
Knocking on wood.
It's going to be okay.
I'm uncrossing everything that I have. So, anywho, we were just sort of discussing this topic about starting 11. We've sort of given our opinion on it. Do you guys want to chime in on what your thoughts are with the starting 11 coming up? And there's right. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I absolutely agree. What about you, Jarrett? How are you feeling?
Actually, pretty good about things. 3-4. It's just very weird that we're back to this. Not only back to the point where you're actually playing, but back to the point now where you're having to keep track of the fact that this is an actual roster that is going to be featuring everybody not named Joseph Martinez. Because if you remember, when you go down, when everything gets shut down after the Cincinnati game, you were the walking wounded. This team was we were thinking about how are they going to line this team up? Is George Campbell going to be getting 70 minutes a game? Not because he can develop, but because he's going to have to, because there's no one else who can do it.
Yeah.
But now you have everyone healthy. It's 3-4-3 back. If it's that, then it's Mesa, Robinson, Escobar, and near and dear to my heart will forever be the Franco Escobar late game runs when something's not working, and we're just going to let Franco Escobar make one or two runs out of that center back role, and nobody really ever sees it coming, and then it just happens. But one thing I want to see is Hyndman. Jason, you touched on Hyndman. Hyndman's been good at being in the right place at the right time on set pieces, especially.
The stealthy ninja. I'm going to say it. You just did.
Yeah, he is a ninja about this. How big is that going to be in a game, not just offensively but defensively, in a game like this with Red Bulls, a team that this isn't the same Red Bulls team as the 2018 Red Bulls team that we saw. Mm-hmm. Now, Atlanta's not the same team as 2018, but they've gone in different directions in a sense.
Right.
And how big is that going to be against a team that's going to want to press, as we all know, and they're going to want to work their set pieces, get the ball into the mix, and having a guy who has a penchant for being in the right place at the right time on set pieces, not just offensively, but defensively, to clear a ball out, to start a counter, to just kind of defuse a situation. And even if you don't clear it out for a counter, just clear it out and do what you did against Red Bulls in the playoffs in 2018, where you're forcing them, okay, you're not going to score off of this set piece. Here's some sustained possession. Try and create something.
And the point that we were making in the transition, with the deeper rosters, the deeper roster sizes that we have here at MLS's back, I think that when you have coaches who either played in or coached in or both in these group stage World Cup environments, like a Frank de Boer, to have a deep roster when you can bring on someone like a Jake Mulroney after 60, 65 minutes of having a bellow out there, then you unleash Jake Mulroney and have the Nolan Richardson, 25 minutes of hell where Jake just out there and you're running people into the ground. To have these options in a tournament like this, I think, and to have a coach with this kind of experience, I think it plays well, obviously, for Atlanta United in all these different ways. But the 3-4-3 with the ninja in the middle with Emerson Hyndman, I think that's going to be the hashtag quiet ninja. Well, because you don't want to be a loud ninja.
Fluid ninja, because he goes through about 4 different accents in every interview. It's amazing. Yeah. They just kind of it's like waves on the ocean. He's just talking, and Texas, English, different British accent, Texan again. It's weird.
That's part of being a ninja.
Probably a little bit of Glasgow pops up.
Stealthiness.
So let's talk about subs, because that's obviously where we're coming at with Mulroney coming on. But we also have to realize we've got a lot of depth when it comes to subs with veteran quality as well, like Edgar Castillo. We can have pull in. Obviously, the Big Red, near and dear to my heart. Do we see guys like that being fully taken advantage of with this 5-sub substitution? Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
He does. He does. Let's talk a little bit about the Red Bulls. I mean, I know we've badgered on that for a bit of time, but let's talk about players you're going to be looking forward to seeing. So for me, I said this before the season started when we were doing pre-games and everything like that. Kyle Duncan, to me, is going to be a key piece for them on the right side. He's got speed, he's got agility. The only thing I would worry about with him from a Red Bull stance is a little bit on his inconsistency with defense, which is a plus for us. But I really feel like coming up that right side, we need to be careful, especially if he's going to be compared against Bello. It's got to be something that we see as a good matchup.
Yep.
Right. John, is there anybody you're looking forward to seeing as a Red Bull player? Who you're worried about?
I'll give you one who started both matches and give you one that has turned into a certifiable pain in the butt when he comes off the bench. I look at a guy like Florian Valot, who has scored. He's got 2 assists so far this season. Hasn't played the full 180 minutes in both of the matches early on, but for me, also coming off the bench, Tom Barlow. And so for me, looking at a guy like Barlow with his history, seeing what he's been able to do with Red Bulls 2, and how he's really, when he comes off the bench, he can be one of those impact players that all of a sudden just kind of snaps up and puts something in the back of the net, as we've seen over the last handful of years. So starting, I'll go with Valot. Off the bench, I'll go with Barlow. Jarrett, what do you think?
You know, it's nice to see for Valot that he is really attached now, because that wasn't a thing for a while. I mean, he's a good player. He just hadn't had to stay on the field. The thing for me is guys, you've got guys like White and Barlow who are they kind of fit that same. We're going to throw in the mixer, and that guy's going to be where he needs to be to just poke it away and just put it away. And you're going to get guys like that who can play a gritty style. It's not always going to be pretty, but it's going to be it's going to be kind of rough. It's going to throw it a cement mixer, and out might pop a pound cake, out might pop a stick of dynamite. You don't really know. You still have Alex Moyle still there to deal with. You still have 2 good center backs. I mean, what do you want to say? One really, really good center back and one good center back that are going to have a different guy behind them. I think the big thing for me for Red Bulls this year is you're replacing a couple of club legends. Bradley Wright Phillips is gone. You also lost your goalkeeper, who was your Ironman goalkeeper, who not only that, but he was your organizer. How is the communication going to be on the back line? How is the organization going to be on the back line? Especially if Atlanta kind of comes out with, kind of a false nine sort of look. How is that communication going to be with making sure that everybody's covered, making sure runs are covered, making sure that two-on-ones aren't taken advantage of. Back post is covered, late run, this, that, and the other. How's that communication going to be? Red Bulls, they are where they are at this point. We know what you're going to get. You're building up that system. You're bringing up a lot of young players, and that's going to make it for some mistakes. Maybe not necessarily this first 90 minutes against Atlanta. There will be mistakes, though. And it's one of those situations where I think you benefit from playing Red Bulls early as these young guys are still developing, as opposed to catching them later in the year when we've seen who's going to stick at a Major League Soccer level and who's not going to stick, and they kind of start finding their form. I think with this many young players, it's a team I want to play right now. Oh, Jesus Christmas.
Yes. I was going to say something.
Yep.
Hey, here's a question for you. Is this the year that Kaku really comes good? Like where it comes together fully? Because we've seen flashes of it. We've also seen flashes of self-destruction on an aggressive scale.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about something that's been a continual trend with these games going on through this tournament so far. Do we see a goal occurring in the first half?
Yeah.
Yeah. John, what are your thoughts?
No, I think that.
Oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that tonight was going to be my example of seeing a goal in the first 45. And I think that when you have two teams in Atlanta and Red Bulls, as Jason says, they want to sit there and they want to get up in your grill and they want to make their statement early and they want to cause chaos. They want to get that turnover, create a short field, create an opportunity. I think that in the Atlanta match tomorrow, you could see a goal in the first 45, and I'm going to hold my prediction for about another 10 minutes.
We're going to hold the predictions. We're going to get to questions, but let's get to the
hold my prediction for
yes. Jared, what are your thoughts on if they have the ability to score within the first 45?
I think there are chances. I mean, it's one of those things that it's really easy to talk about if you had Joseph this, if you had Joseph that, because he's that kind of guy that even when he wasn't 100% sharp, the thing that always sticks out to me when I go back and look at stuff with Joseph, especially incredibly sharp it is, but it's his ability to wait until the last. For instance, like go back and look at the goal first round in the first game of the Eastern Conference Final when Larentowicz hits that early cross and Joseph basically lets the ball take 2 or 3 bounces instead of striking. That ability to wait a second longer to get opportunity. Do other strikers? Are the other strikers confidently feel sharp enough to make those decisions? Because we've seen it with guys getting chances. We saw Dom Dwyer trip over a ball that he's probably putting away in the middle of the season the other night, where it just got caught under his feet and he just kind of tries to flail at it because it landed in an awkward spot. I think it was Kasper Shabilko had one where somebody fell into him that it just clanked off his foot. He ends up curling it wide of the post. It's a situation where you think further in the season, that's fine. You're going to get those opportunities. Can somebody wrap their foot around the ball and put it in the back of the net? I think that's where, based on what we saw early in the season, I get you had run up and you don't have run up now. A guy like an Ezequiel Barco, who likes those moments, is a guy who can slow things down a bit and not feel like, oh, here's a chance. I need to put this away right now. I think that's what Joseph has done so well that, we don't talk about enough, even though we talk about everything, but being able to slow it down in those moments. And then I think if you can slow it down, you'll have those opportunities. Chris Wondolowski might be that guy tonight. If, you get an early opportunity for a team like the Quakes, where a guy like Wondolowski, who's 118 years old and has been doing this since paper was invented, he might be able to slow it down in that moment to put it away.
I know.
Ageless wonder.
I love Wando. All Wando's doing, though, is making the target.
Yeah.
Oh,
how could he be disrespecting him if he's sporting the Parley kit? I mean, if he's actually wearing a Quakes kit, how is he disrespecting it?
Right.
He is the Greg Maddux of Major League Soccer, just a model of absurd consistency. Because remember, Maddux went like 15 years in a row, winning 15 games a year. I mean, it's just Wando's just that model of consistency.
Yeah.
God save him.
The chat brought up a player which just recently got added to the first team that we haven't actually referenced tonight, Tyler Wolff. What is the likelihood, in your opinion, that we see Tyler on the field tomorrow? Right. John, do you have any questions on the Twitter sphere?
I certainly do, and it's from the Colonel. The Colonel's checking in on the run-up this evening. The Colonel says that Stephen Goff is reporting on Twitter that Fox will use quote-unquote crowd noise on Fox, Big Fox, and FS1. Got to go to digital if you want commentary, player reactions, the sounds of boot on ball and cleat on shin guard. We need, the word need in all caps, we need run-up to get this decision reversed. Use your influence.
There's
They have. Doesn't match. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, I was actually kind of looking forward to being able to hear the players yell at each other and Goose organizing the back line and Frank choosing his words carefully, as he said. Right. So let's talk about overall reflections and opinions of how the tournament's gone so far. I know that we're getting close to wrapping this all up, but as a tournament so far and it's sort of a larger question, as a tournament so far, how do you feel like MLS has handled this? I mean, it's hard to do anything at this point in time with what's going on globally, and even in this country with test results, with quality of tests, with everything, especially within the location that the actual play is happening. I mean, they're being very secluded within a very hotbed state. How do you feel like MLS has been handling this? I mean, in my opinion, a few tests are going to come up positive. That's just how the statistics happen. But I feel like in hindsight, it has been well managed.
Jarrett, what do you think?
Oh, Jerry.
I think it's been I've been spent way too many time on conference calls with mute buttons. I think it's been managed about as well as you can expect. The product on the field, I think, has been as good as you can expect with the teams that have had the layoffs and they've just had individual practices, just the teams individually, not the individual on individual practice. But as far as off the field side goes, it's I think in hindsight, if you had to do it again, I think you push harder to set the bubble at 2+ weeks instead of what you ended up doing, where you set a harder deadline to give more time inside the bubble. So if teams come in with 11 positive tests and they're all asymptomatic, where you can say, cool, you're quarantined over here for 2 weeks, and then we can go ahead with this. I think that's something, if you had to do it all over again, you would push harder on if you want to go ahead with the tournament. As far as the actual presentation goes, I'm good with it all. I don't mind a giant Adidas on the middle of the field. I think I'm more unsettled by the giant. Kelly, you're going to hurt your neck looking around. I think I'm.
Exactly.
Get an Adidas logo for enough money on my tattooed on my body. I think I'm more unsettled by like the faces of random fans popping up on the superimposed, like they're streaming.
Like, how do you get that dig?
So there's a fan behind the goal on a screen that's like a 30 by 50.
And you're like way up here like this.
I think that's unsettled me more, but there's nothing. It doesn't bother me. The advertising doesn't bother me. You see it in every major sport. Go watch a cricket match. I mean, that's wild. Go watch anything nowadays with the technology we have. You're going to see it superimposed left, right, up, and down. It's fine. It is what it is. I've been good with the way the tournament's gone. We're a couple days into it. I think I'm going to be even more so. And I think a lot of people are going to be even more so just kind of in the slipstream of it a couple days down the road when we're getting consistently 2+ games a day. And it just becomes routine.
All right, let's move into the hot question of the night and the question I'm pretty sure everybody wants answered as we wrap up. What are the score predictions for the game tomorrow?
Okay. And it looks like we also have some breaking news or breaking-ish news.
Yeah, I saw that. So I'm going to go ahead and do my score prediction, which will probably not be agreeable to everyone. I'm going to go for a tie, 1-1.
Okay. I'll go 2-1 Atlanta United. I think that Royer angers Atlanta United fans for yet another match, but I think Atlanta United get more than that.
Mine is I do feel like we're going to have the three-headed snake attack pretty well.
The Hydra.
The Hydra. But I do think the Red Bulls the defensive backline will hold up, and I think rest is going to take a factor. So I do feel like they're going to get one on us.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
Yeah. See, but this way he gets out of.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no. This is a matter of sharpness, and this is a matter of just having more raw. We're just going to beat you over the sledgehammer. I think Atlanta wins at 2-0. Just in terms of being able to finish the chances they get, I think New York's going to be able to create chances, but I don't trust them to convert those chances the same way I do Atlanta. So 2-0 Atlanta.
Okay. Breaking news.
What did I win?
He's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I saw him a couple scrolls back.
Saint him.
Yep.
He's just a really cool guy.
Yeah, and I need more people to follow me so I can follow Roberto because my ratio is still stuck.
Oh my God. Jason, score prediction. Yeah. All right. As we're wrapping up, go ahead, John.
Couple things on the Twitters. Joe Bost said that in talking about the tournament in general, he says Orlando City won a match, so things are majorly suspect. And the Colonel on the Eric Lopez news says that without a cryptic tweet from Darren, didn't happen.
Very true.
Until it happens, it didn't happen. There you go.
Yes.
There.
All right.
That's all right.
Oh.
What in the world? Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh. Okay. I know. Never. I've never heard that.
What?
What?
Book of Mormon.
I've never seen Book of Mormon.
Oh.
You got to get coached up.
I've seen all of Hamilton. Have you?
Saw it in Chicago. Saw it in Chicago with the B team. It was amazing. Saw it in person.
All right. Since John is kind of.
Yeah, really?
I think I'm contractually obligated to say yes. And man, it's such a weird game though, because the idea of San Jose coming out and pressing for 90 minutes in this heat after not playing a game in 4 months is such an amazing idea. It's the reason they got there first. You had to put them in a hyperbaric chamber.
I cannot wait to see how Matias Almeida is styling and profiling on the touchline tonight and see what his twist is on it. I think that Seattle gets 2. I think that San Jose gets a poacher's goal from 127-year-old Chris Wondolowski, 2-1 final Seattle, who is a minus 106, by the way, courtesy of our friends at BetMGM.
I think Morris does well, and I'm actually going to say it's going to be crazy as well. I think Jordan himself will get 2, but I do think San Jose, because they are crazy, cannot say on the broadcast, are going to 3-up it. So I'm going to say 3-2 San Jose.
3-3.
I just say it's insane.
Wow.
I don't ever trust a San Jose game, ever. So that's who I'm going with.
MLS is back after dark.
It is going to be nuts. Thank you guys again so much for joining us on the run up.
I wish I had
Go ahead and do this,
Yeah.
John, so you can get more followers.
Yes.
Social.
Bring it to us.
Where can they find you, John?
At OSG Nelson on Twitter. And that's the beginning of it all, but that's the one that's most important. At OSG Nelson on Twitter. Follow me so I can follow more people like Roberto Rojas 97.
Nice. Jarrett, where can they find you?
Jared_Smith.
All right.
You don't have to follow me. It's okay. It's mostly just dad jokes.
Well, I mean, people like that. You never know. Jason, where can they find you? Yes, indeed. And I am the Kelly Francis. Thank you guys again for joining us on The Run Up. You can find us at The Run Up Show on Twitter. We are here to answer all your questions, give you entertainment, dad jokes from Jarrett, analysis from Jason, and obscure references from John. But thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all on Twitter tomorrow. Happy night, guys.